Hi, I'm Angella Sharpe. Now, you know STL TV is where you get to experience St. Louis, but we've went Hollywood today. You guys are in for a special treat. I have comedian, writer, actor, activist, Dallas Goldtooth with me. Thank you so much for being here today.
I'm so happy to be here. I'm really, really happy to be here.
Now, you are on this brand new show on Apple TV, The Last Frontier. We've got the big poster for it behind us here. I'm excited about this show. 2 episodes have already aired. That means people have plenty of time to kind of catch up and kind of get into the season here. We're going to show a little clip, but before that, can you kind of tell us what this show is kind of about?
Yeah, so it's an action drama. It takes place in northern Alaska, outside of Fairbanks, Alaska. The concept is Con Air meets The Fugitive, if you remember those movies.
Yes.
But really, it's a airplane carrying a bunch of convicts crash lands in the remote forests of Alaska, and the U.S. Marshals, based out of Fairbanks, of which I am one of those U.S. Marshals, have to go and hunt them down. But one of them on the plane is a secret agent of some sort, a spy of sorts, and we have to. The show's really about who is this guy, why is he on this plane, and what is his mission. And it's espionage, it's action, but it's really grounded and rooted in a sense of community that is Fairbanks, Alaska.
This is what I kind of love about it, because you kind of bring a uniqueness to this role. Kind of, I think I've heard people say you kind of validate part of this role. Does that mean a lot to you?
I don't know. It makes me a little nervous because there's a lot of pressure, like to be a native face, or one of the native faces for the show. Like, it takes place in Alaska,
Sure.
and Alaska natives are a critical aspect of, obviously, they're the people that have lived there since time immemorial. Alaska natives are a major aspect of the community of Fairbanks, and so I want to make sure I do it right. I'm not from there.
Right.
I'm Dakota and Navajo, but I want to make sure I represent their people in the best way possible. So when I got the job, I called people up and say, hey, like, this is what it is. Where do I not mess up,
Sure, because you want to make sure you are doing them right
Yeah.
in this role. Now, you kind of play a marshal, and obviously you've got, like you said, the native face, if you will. So do those two things kind of go together, or are you kind of playing two sides of the same coin?
No, they go. Actually, when I got the job, the first thing I did is I called some U.S. Marshals that were native. One of the head U.S. Marshal out of South Dakota was a native man from my tribe. He was Lakota. And so I had a long conversation with him, a research, I just researched. I talked to him about what it meant, what was his experience, what kind of people get into the Marshal Service from Native communities. So it was really, really insightful. And I'm just happy to play a role that I've never played before, a type of role. Yeah. Like, I'm usually doing comedy work, but this is like a more serious, button-up kind of serious, dramatic role.
We'd like that. We're going to show a clip. Will you set this clip up for me?
Yeah, so, this clip I think happens on maybe 3rd or 4th episode and leading into the mid of season where, there's just so much happening, and the main characters, I'm supporting my partner, his name's Frank, he's the main character, and he's just trying to get a grasp of, like, what the hell's happening? Like, what's going on? What is the angle everyone's trying to play in this, and how are we as U.S. Marshals being played? And so he's kind of looking ahead and feeling not so good about what may be on the horizon.
All right, well, let's take a look at this clip from The Last Frontier.
Okay.
I don't know. I got a bad feeling, Hutch. I feel like one of those frogs you told me about.
Frogs? I didn't say anything about frogs.
You did. Frogs in the ice.
Oh, you're talking about the near high.
Yeah.
Yeah, they seem to warn us about the ice break before the river floods. The near high can sense the chaos brewing before we can.
Well, that's what I feel like. I feel like chaos is brewing. I feel like things are in motion, Hutch. Things you and I can't see.
I want you to prepare a team.
We're going to Alaska?
Just prepare a team.
It feels like something's coming. The ice is gonna break, the river's gonna flood.
So I called your aunt, Renee, and she said we can stay as long as we like.
And we're all gonna get swallowed up by it.
Okay, it looks fantastic from that clip. There's so much going on in this show. I even saw on your Instagram you have a clip of some very serious, if you will, kind of fighting, right? So somebody has to walk you through every step of that, I assume.
Yeah, so the one of the executive producers, he also directed the first episode. His name's Sam Hargrave. He directed Extraction is on Netflix. There's a couple, like one or two. There's two Extraction movies. He's a stunt coordinator turned director, and so like his background is stunts, is action. That's what he does. That's what he knows. That's his bread and butter. And so he directed the first episode, kind of paved the way for all the other directors. And so we had some pretty intense action sequences. The first one in the first episode is a 6-minute long one take action sequence where we fly in on a helicopter, we get into some craziness, and we got to get back to the helicopter and try to survive in the process. It took a week to rehearse. We spent a number of days just working on it, making sure everyone knew what they were doing, and it was pretty intense. It was like negative 10 degrees out. We were literally out in the snow for it, and I couldn't be prouder of it. Like shout out, much love to all the stuntmen on this. Like they just went above and beyond to make this a pretty awesome experience.
And it makes it really kind of makes that show. It really pulls you in to The Last Frontier and kind of makes you want to see what's going to happen next.
Yeah, absolutely. Like there are some pretty big action sequences throughout the series, but it's really stays grounded. It really, I think, does a good job of making you feel the tie of the emotional strings for all the characters. There are a lot of characters, and the show does a really good job of making sure, like, hey, a lot of stuff's happening, but we'll make sure you're tracking it along in a good way. You don't get lost.
Well, since there's so many characters with so many different sides to their character, there's a lot to kind of keep up with, but they do a pretty good job of making sure you're kind of following along why this guy feels this way about certain things.
Absolutely. Well, and actually, one of my favorite part of this is the bad guys. Like straight up, the casting is phenomenal in this. There's an actor named Clifton Collins. I was so excited to work with them. Johnny Knoxville's in this, and they all play some amazing bad guys, and they kind of get their own each get their own episode where you get to learn about their motivations and basically what happens while they're trying to escape in the wild.
Everybody kind of likes a bad guy, so I hate to tell you that because you're the marshal, you're the good guy, but everybody likes a bad guy, right?
I want to be a bad guy someday. Come on.
You will be a bad guy someday. I promise. You got such range. You mentioned it right before the clip. You kind of got your start in comedy, doing a lot of comedy about kind of pointing out some differences, if you will.
Yeah.
So this is a little bit of a different edge, but you're still very vocal. You're an activist. You're very vocal about what you believe in, what you don't believe in. How do you balance that with being an actor, an employed actor?
I don't know. I have no idea how I'm doing it. I think I just, I'm passionate about the things I care about. I think that we all want a better world for the next 7 generations of life. And so we have to commit ourselves every step of the way to do so. And so I want to use my platform in whatever way I can to advocate for justice for all peoples. And, my history is organizing. Actually, the first time I ever came to St. Louis was actually organizing a strategy meeting here with a lot of frontline social justice groups here in St. Louis who are like fighting against, police brutality, fighting for affordable housing. That's my background as I was doing climate justice work. And, it's still a big part of who I am. I try to bring it into my work as an actor. And I struggle at times, but I'm trying my best to balance it all.
It is interesting to watch, especially if you scroll through your TikTok a little bit, because you're very vocal, very outgoing, and I was like, it is impressive that you can be a working actor and have such strong viewpoints, because, a lot of times they tell you, just walk the neutral zone, right? And you're not walking the neutral zone.
Oh yeah, I've been whispered a couple of times, of like, hey, maybe you should time this differently, but I'm very cognizant of like my job as an actor, right, is to promote One is to be a part of telling stories. I love telling stories. Stories change the world. Stories make the world. We make everything up. We made up society based on stories. And I'm proud to be a part of an amazing story that tells a really cool, it's just fun. It's a fun story. It's not really that serious. It's just a good thing to escape from reality into. But I also don't want to hold back when I can. And so I kind of try to walk that line as best as I can.
I love that you're walking that line. I think it's very interesting to watch, and I think some of the things you're talking about are actually very, very important. And you are pulling that role together for everybody. Now, I mentioned at the beginning of the show, 2 episodes of The Last Frontier have already aired, but people can catch up. I feel like we've given them enough time to catch up. Why would you suggest somebody watch The Last Frontier?
Oh, it's a great question. Well, first of all, they come out every Friday. Each episode drops on the Fridays. We have 10 episodes, so we're going all the way into December. More than enough time to get you and your auntie and your uncles all caught up. I think that we all want to just we want to watch a good story. We want to have fun when we watch it, and this is a great example, a great show to watch to get that, to achieve that. I think honestly, this is on Apple TV. I think a lot of people have an opinion about Apple TV and the kind of shows that they have on there, and they're great shows. I love the shows on Apple TV, but this one I feel like is a little bit against the grain. It's more just it's not heady, it's not super intellectual. It's just like a really strong story, and I think a lot of folks in the Midwest, a lot of folks in the St. Louis area, I think would actually enjoy it.
There's so much we could have talked to you about. You have so many accolades to your name. Where can people follow you to see what you are doing?
All across social media under Dallas Goldtooth. Pretty straightforward, but yeah, I'm on everything.
Definitely check out his Instagram, his TikTok, all that. But don't forget, you want to be streaming on Apple TV, The Last Frontier. New episodes are every Friday. You got plenty of time to catch up on the first 2 episodes before tomorrow night. Again, Dallas, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you very much.
Don't forget to keep it right here on STL TV and Experience St. Louis. I'll see you next time.